What's up, guys? So this guy's channel that I'm on right now, his name is Jacob McLaughlin, and he did $1.5 million in sales last year through his coaching program. And most, if not all of his leads came from YouTube and his podcast. So I want to break down how he started, with just his phone, and how he stayed consistent for 5 years, and why his YouTube channel is the reason his pipeline never ever runs dry. So this is Jacob McLaughlin again. Like I said, he owns a company called New to Medical Device Sales. Most of you guys have probably never heard of medical device sales. I didn't until I met him. But it is a dope industry, a very niche industry. And if Jacob can create a podcast, can create YouTube content, and close around, honestly, probably over 200 leads a year, or 200 clients a year in his coaching program in such a niche industry, you guys can do very, very well for yourselves on YouTube, especially if you're a business that's built on education and or trust, right? So I'm going to go through his channel here quick, but I met Jacob through a friend of mine who is in the fitness industry that's not very related to anything that we're going to be talking about today, but he opened my eyes, especially more so about this whole business structure than I had my eyes open to originally, and I was already a pretty open-minded person about YouTube. But he is a perfect case study of what consistency can do for your business. So if we go to his YouTube videos, you can see he does a very good job with his thumbnails. They're very poppy, they're very punchy. But what I want to show you is how long he's been doing this. Now, yes, YouTube is a long-term game, but if you look at these thumbnails. I love you, Jacob, but these are atrocious thumbnails. And you know this, by the way. But you know what? You were on YouTube. You were just getting started, brother. And like we talked about on the plane and during our travels filming your podcast episodes, it was about consistency. It didn't matter if you were filming on your phone or if you were filming, if you were just filming like on a high quality cinematic camera with amazing lighting, like, what we do for our clients. But you were just staying consistent, and you were very specific on who you were trying to connect with. You were trying to connect with people in medical device sales. Now, this was the start of his career. Jacob was making $0, as far as I'm aware of, from medical device sales. Now, you can tell early on his YouTube journey, he wasn't very consistent. I mean, 5 years ago, he posted 6 videos in his first year. That's one video every 2 months, right? I mean, that's more than most people who have YouTube channels. That's more than what most people post. But as he continued to stay consistent and post more content, you can tell in his second year, he posted significantly more. We're talking 4, 8, 12, 16, 24, 32, and on and on and on. And so these are all of his videos in his second year. Look at this. I mean, it just doesn't end. And his thumbnails, like, you can tell they're getting better. You can tell that he's improving on his quality of how he's presenting the channel. But the thing I want you guys to focus on here is consistency. Consistency. He didn't worry about the highest quality. He was using a headset for good audio, but he didn't worry so much about how the video looked, but focused on the content and the value that he was providing to his viewers. So in his second year, if we look, right, let's just do some scrolling. So I'm going to scroll from where his first video started in his second year, which is right here. Let's go until we see it move on to 3 years ago. Boom, right there. So this was his last video, right? So that's 4, 8, 12, 16, 24, 32. That's a lot of videos. I would honestly probably say close to 70 or 80 videos in his second year. That's a lot of videos to be posting. And I mean, he wasn't getting like an absurd amount of views. He was getting 16,000 views. He had another video that hit off and did 33,000. But then he was doing 800, 500, 1.3 thousand views, right? He was hovering around 2,000 to about 500 views a video. Let's kind of look at. In this stage, he was not YouTube famous. He was not raking in money from YouTube. But I don't think that was the point. He was just building authority in the space. And that's the thing that so many people think about YouTube, right? Like, people think, if I'm going to go on YouTube, then I'm going to become a YouTuber, and then I have to go viral, and I have to become ultra famous, and that's how I'm going to make the money on YouTube. That's how I'm going to make money back through using this platform. But that's not the reality of it. Jacob built assets. Think about that. This gallery, these 2,500 videos, 2,500 videos on this channel have compounded into an unfathomable amount of trust. When somebody YouTube searches or even Google searches medical device sales coaching, how to get better at medical device sales, entrepreneurship, medical device sales, interviews, help, interview coaching, he is the person who shows up because he has 2,500 freaking videos on his channel. So again, Jacob was building compounding trust. He wasn't trying to become a YouTube sensation. So just keep that at the forefront of your mind. And so when you think about YouTube and you think about, the clients that we work with, right? Like, we bring quality production into their content. We bring strategy, the type of content they're going to be producing. We bring in the scheduling and the flow of how the page is going to look, designing their YouTube channel, the whole 9 yards, right? But when I'm talking to clients and we're pitching them and we're trying to show them the value of YouTube, as nice as it is to focus on views and the vanity of YouTube and impressions and all of that, you guys as entrepreneurs and as business owners will look at YouTube and be like, cool, views are awesome, right? That's whatever. It's a vanity metric. But like, what's the ROI? Like, what can I look to earn from this? And I'm not going to share everything that Jacob and I talked about during our travels and during producing his podcast. But I can tell you that this model freaking works for him. Right? Now, he's done very well for himself in the short few years that he's actually truly been full on running this business. But YouTube for him has had a massive impact on his income as an entrepreneur. And the thing is, he uses his asset of his YouTube channel to then filter and funnel potential prospects into the ability for them to actually connect with him through various social media platforms that I'm not going to share on here because it's probably very specific to his business and I don't want to do any disservices to him. But he could see very clearly if he invested time and energy into producing content that built authority and value, it would long-term compound into financial return, right? Not vanity return, not emotional return, financial return. Because us as entrepreneurs, like, we want to see a return on investment. And so, like, let's just take a quick overview look, right? So we've seen his thumbnails. We've seen how they've slowly improved. I mean, look at this guy. He was doing podcast after podcast after podcast after podcast, back and forth, all the time. He was doing vlogs. He was just absolutely grinding. I've never met a person who works as hard as this guy. And he was just absolutely going in on it. He started producing high-quality thumbnails for himself with high-quality pictures of himself. And he started having some consistency with his thumbnails. He was having, higher value guests on his podcast. By the way, this isn't saying that you need to start a podcast. This is just his niche specifically. But he was showing the journey. He was showing exactly what it was like and his experience being vulnerable. And now you look at his channel now, and he has very nice, very clean thumbnails, very clear messaging, right? He has his own studio now. And you can see that the game that he's played has paid off immensely, right? And so the lesson here for you guys watching this video is that you don't need perfection when it comes to YouTube. You don't need to be a viral sensation. You don't need to become a YouTuber. You don't even need to be making money on YouTube through AdSense or through sponsorships. It's not perfection that matters. It is the consistency that matters. You can see 5 years later, he might not be still breaking, he's still in that 500 to 2,000 view range. But his business income has skyrocketed. Absolutely skyrocketed. And so, guys, I want you to hear this when I say this, but authority comes from showing up long enough for people to trust you. And YouTube, I will die on this hill, but YouTube truly does equal the best long-term credibility builder if you are a trust-based businesses. And whether you think I can guarantee the majority of you guys are. Most businesses are built on trust. Whether you're a blue-collar business, you're a coach, you're a gym owner, you're a financial advisor, you're a doctor, you're a therapist, you're like almost every business is built on trust, because if your clients can't trust you, they don't want to buy from you. Unless you're doing like e-commerce or something, then most people buy a $50 widget without knowing who's actually selling it. But most of you guys are trust-based businesses. So if you want inbound leads, inbound clients, and you need brand authority, YouTube is one of the best ways to build it. And Jacob truly is living proof of this. So if you want me to break down more real world examples like this, feel free to hit the subscribe button. And I'm also doing a thing where I sit down with you guys. It's called the Blueprint Builder. And essentially what I do is I sit down with you guys for an hour and I break down your entire business structure. I break down content for you guys and help you build a 30-day strategy. It's completely for free. All I ask for is your email. So it's not 100% free. But if I do my job right, I'll also get your business. So yeah, it is. I am trying to sell you guys. But if I do a shitty job, then I don't want you guys to work with me. But I think I'll do a pretty good job. So click the link in our YouTube bio or at the bottom of this YouTube video if you want to learn more about that. Give me your email. We'll get connected. And if you feel like it's a good fit, we'll run with it. I'll see you guys in the next video.